City Talks with Reuben Abati.
He's an alumnus of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and also the University of Ibadan. He worked in Shell Petroleum Development Company and also with Mobil Oil Producing Nigeria, where he retired as a manager. He was elected senator for the Edo North Senatorial District of Edo State, Nigeria, at the start of Nigeria's Fourth Republic. He ran on the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and he was in office from 1999 to 2007 as a senator of the Federal Republic. After taking his seat in the Senate, he was appointed to several committees, including Petroleum, Solid Minerals, Environment, where he served as vice chairman, also Police Affairs, Commerce, and Data. He's a recipient of the Kwame Nkrumah Africa Leadership Award, as well as various traditional titles across the country. So Senator Victor Oyofo is someone who has senator, who has been involved, and who has a lot to say about how Nigeria has turned out and how Nigeria is turning out in the past, in the present, and who is well placed to make projections and offer opinions about the future of our dear country. Hello, welcome back to City Talks with Reuben Abati here on City 1051 FM. Well, I apologize for that, slight delay. We were trying to establish audio connection with Senator Victor Oyofo, but now we would have the conversation, via phone connection. Senator Oyofo, you're welcome to the program. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Reuben. I'm sorry I can't, my instruments are not working properly.
But no problem, sir.
I hope you can hear my voice.
Yes, we can hear you clearly in the studio, so we just do it by telephone. Well, very quickly, today is May 29, 1999. And I recall that in 1999, you were part of the first set of civilians to take over from the military. You were elected into the National Assembly, and you were there in that National Assembly for 2 terms, 1999 to 2003 and 2003 to 2007. Now, when you look back, what is the significance for you of May 29, and how do you think we have fared in terms of our experience of democratic governance, say, in the last 22 years? Let's start with 22 years.
Thank you very much, Reuben. Well, like I said in the previous interview, I want to thank you for allowing me to join in this program. The comparison between us and what is going on now, is truly speaking, there is no comparison except in name that we are all in National Assembly. I think that's all I can say. Things are not working as they should be. The senators, we are not hearing what they are doing that is useful to the people. So it's like day and night. Hello?
Senator?
Yes. I don't know if you are hearing me.
Yes, but will you say that democracy has served the people of Nigeria well in terms of expectations and in terms of the performance, generally, of elected officials?
Well, I will not say that democracy has served the people well in terms of delivering the dividends of democracy. What I'm saying, what we all know is that we are worse than we used to be. So if democracy is measured by how well our people are, then we are in a very sorry state. And when we started, I could travel from Abuja to my home in the night, but now it's a different story.
Well, apart from security, what other concerns do you have?
I don't even think that the present National Assembly is productive in any way. So if if what they do is by the standard by which we measure democracy, then again they are not doing anything we can be happy about. You cannot hear them create anything that is sensible. And one of the ridiculous ones I heard about a couple of weeks ago was somebody proposing that when a family pays a ransom to pay money to free their people from kidnappers, they should be jailed for 15 years. It is difficult to imagine that those type of statements are made by thinking people.
Well, but members of the National Assembly will say, well, the National Assembly is trying its best under the circumstances. For example, this week, they've been holding public hearings on constitutional amendment in 6 geopolitical zones at 12 centers. What do you think of this attempt to amend the Constitution, and particularly the big issues, devolution of power, state police, judicial reform, gender equality in the Constitution, fiscal federalism, and all of those key controversial issues?
Well, let me be very clear. The Constitution of Nigeria will be amended, whether they like it or not. Otherwise, you will not have a country called Nigeria. The Constitution is to serve the people. It's not meant to exploit the people. The faults in the Constitution are so glaring that they don't even allow progress to be made. Nigeria has to be restructured into the 6 geopolitical zones. And that the Constitution must recognize so that each zone is able to derive its own sustenance and at the same time contribute what is necessary to hold the center and service common services. It's so obvious that you don't even need a conference to do that. It is very obvious.
Anyway, let me ask you about the specific issues that you think should be addressed. You've talked about restructuring. What should we restructure?
There are many, my dear brother. One, let us first of all reorganize Nigeria into 6 geopolitical zones, recognize them, dissolve the states as they are today because they are just grain files.
Hello, I can hear you.
Yes. You can hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay. What I'm saying is that the simple thing we should do, recognize the zones as the federating unit. Abolish the states as they are. Let each zone reorganize the administrative style to suit themselves. And then you have a common center which they contribute. See, Reuben, I would wish to speak a lot on this subject, but I just have poor connections. I don't know if people are hearing me well.
Yeah, we are hearing you very well at this end. Yes, we are.
Okay. So, I was going to give a general setting before we enter into this detailed discussion so that everybody can understand the compartment they belong to and how each compartment is related to the whole. Now,
hello? Hello, sir. Hello?
hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Huh?
We can hear you. Go ahead. You were talking about compartments of being organized into a whole.
Yes, I was saying that it is clear after the use of practicing the state structures in Nigeria, it is clear that the division of Nigeria into 36 states only ends up in waste. It has been proven. It cannot produce anything. It cannot develop people. It cannot provide employment. It cannot guarantee security. So I think that the first thing we should do is to be courageous enough to dissolve the state. That is necessary. I can't get all this. What is this?
Hello? Hello? Hello, Senator Oyofo? Well, we seem to have lost a connection with him there. Well, I mean, these things happen. It's a problem with telephone. Let's see if we can reestablish contact with him. We were just, having a conversation with Senator Oyofo about what needs to be done in terms of restructuring Nigeria. And he was talking about each region, the states being dissolved and a return to federating units along the 6 geopolitical zones. But, of course, this is a subject that concerns all of us as Nigerians. Senator Oyofo, are you back with us?
Hello?
Hello, sir. Are you back with us?
Yes, I am on the phone. I can see your picture, but there's no movement. I don't know what's wrong with my computer.
Yes, but no, we can leave the computer and just stay with the phone. We can hear you very clearly here.
Okay, all right.
Yes, sir.
So what I was saying is that first, we have been with this 36-state structure for since they were created. We have seen that they are productive, they are a waste, they don't lead to development, they lead to absolute corruption in the most abject form. So we must be courageous. Just as they were created, we can also dissolve them. I recognize that we need 6 states so that there will be economical, 6 zones, and each zone will reorganize itself administratively. After all, in the old Nigeria, the whole western region was administered by one premier and a few appointees as ministers. So the same we can do and save money because we are just waiting, creating little potatoes, governors that all do is steal money and they are protected by what do you call that clause? Immunity clause. So everything is wrong. If we are writing a new constitution, let us just recognize 6 zones. And each zone will contribute. Each zone will contribute to the common welfare at the center. There is need to keep Nigeria together because it will be easier to manage and for the people to live in harmony. If they go their separate ways, there will be a lot of disharmony, rancor, wars between neighbors, and this will create a different atmosphere entirely, a different situation. So we also do, the justice system in Nigeria is also a lot that is wrong with it. Should look into it and find how to make justice justice. We have to make justice just. A situation where you appoint people at random and they kowtow to somebody is definitely not justice. So there are many things we can do. If we talk about security, we should make security the activity of everybody. Structurally, we should have a federal police and state police, and even local government police. Because Nigeria, policing is a neighborhood thing. If people knew everybody knows who came into a village, when he came, what he's doing, and so on. But the bigger the unit is, the less you know about people. Nigeria is under police. We have too few policemen, and the police, apart from corruption, they have been tribalized, redirected, and they no longer function as policemen that are working faithfully for the benefit of the nation.
Well, Senator Oyofo, yes, these are some of the issues people have been talking about. But the public hearings that have been held in this latest round of constitutional amendments, many Nigerians are concerned that the National Assembly is having separate activities. Senate is organizing its own. It's done so this week, May 25, May 26. Next week, the House of Reps is going to organize its own public hearings. And yet there is a joint technical committee on constitutional amendment of the National Assembly, by the National Assembly. Why would the two chambers organize public hearings separately? Why not come together? Is this how it's done in the National Assembly of your time? Because I don't understand, and many people have raised questions about the methodology being adopted.
I didn't hear a lot of what you said, but hello?
I can hear you.
Many of the things you said, I didn't hear. You are talking of the nature of public hearings.
Yes. Senate is organizing its own separately. House of Reps is going to organize its own separately next week. Why can't they work together and just organize?
That just shows you the unseriousness of the place. Listen, Reuben, since I've been in the Senate, I was in the Senate. In our time, we had the Querimado group that were doing constitutional review.
Some interference there.
We had.
Senator, please, we can leave the computer. Let's just keep talking on the phone. Let's stay with the phone. We don't need to go back to the computer.
Okay, let's put out the computer. So I can say, yes, they can hear. Are you out of it? This one is not us. It's us. And what I'm saying is, it's obvious that all they are doing is wasting time. They are not sincere. And in any case, everybody knows how can you be writing one constitution and you have two different groups in the same National Assembly. You just see that what they want to do is the reason for to vote money and share. There is nothing that is common sense. Nobody needs to even argue that. And it's an emblem of shame which they should hang around their neck.
Well, I mean, you've talked about the National Assembly, but how about the Buhari administration? 6 years of that administration, 2 years of the second term of that administration.
I wanted to talk about, to give a general setting. And it's against this setting that we can properly talk about Buhari administration, talk about insecurity and whatever else. And this is what I referred to when I said we create a structure as well as each compartment can understand the structure and understand itself. For us to
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, let me just create the structure that I want to, against which you must put everything else. I want you and the listeners to understand that the world is being purified. And it is against this purification that I want to speak about the government and everything else happening in Nigeria. It is known in every book that you read, every religious book that we have, that a day will come when the earth will be purified. And the function is that of the Holy Spirit. Today, I will tell the reader that the Holy Spirit is on earth and is purifying the earth. What the purification simply means is that everything that is false, that is wrong, will come out and condemn itself. That is the simple definition of this purification. The energy for it is derived from the Holy Spirit. All these, I don't want to go into too much details, but you can read them in the book of Isaiah, in so many other books. They talk to you about the judge world. So Nigeria is being judged. So everybody that has anything good in him will show it. And everybody that has something bad in him will show it. Every institution that is wrong, be it government, be it church, be it religion, be it whatever that human endeavor is, will show itself and itself, or it will survive if it changes. Now, this is in brief what it is. So if you now look at the government of Nigeria, you will have to ask yourself, if they are predominantly doing what is right, you will know there is a lot of goodness in the people who are doing it, who are running it. But if they are predominantly doing what is wrong, you will know that there is a lot wrong with the people who are doing it. In the book of Isaiah, he said they shall take counsel together. It's
Hello?
I don't know if you are hearing me.
Yes, we can hear you.
So everything on earth that is wrong will be destroyed. Nigeria in particular is going to be purified. Those who want to war, they will die in the war. So the country will be purified because the country has a special role to play. Has a special role to play on earth. And that's why it's going to be very hot here for a long time until the country is absolutely purified.
Well,
And this purification is going to be carried out not only by men on themselves, but also by nature. And nature will manifest its own anger or its own way of purifying the people.
but
For Nigeria, the capital will be where they are going to start. And they will experience a very big deluge that will not take place. They will experience
hello? Hello? Okay, we seem to have an issue with the audio there, but while we're waiting for Senator Oyofo to join us, maybe we'll take calls from, our listeners. May 29 is a day that is of interest to all of us. And if you want to join us, the number to call is 0700 1051 1051. And on WhatsApp, 0909 916 4403. And our guest is still Sector Victor Oyofo.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Reuben Abati. Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Yeah, Abati is up there.
Okay.
Number one, 22 years of unbroken democracy. At least when we started for the first 5-6 years, I think we made tremendous progress. Until after then, that we started, sliding gradually. But I must confess to you, the last 6 years has been the most horrible in the history of any government in the whole of West Africa. Today, dollar to naira is 493 naira. Today, you know what inflation is talking about? Today, particularly in the newspapers today, look at the evil that happened on Kaduna, Taraba, Benue. So all of this points to the fact that Nigeria is gradually going down. And what do we do? Just like what Abati is saying there, He talked about restructuring. Fine. That is my own opinion because we have two options. The first option is to restructure Nigeria and get Nigeria running better. The second option is to peacefully dissolve Nigeria and let everybody go their separate way so that we don't continue to waste innocent blood. Life is sacred, and the sanctity of human blood must be maintained. So there's no point. Why? Okay, for instance now, what is the way forward? I don't see any way forward except that we have leadership that is right. And how do we get that? I don't know. For instance, the South is talking about restructuring. The North is saying no. That means those are two parallel lines. I don't know where we are going to meet. And as long as we don't meet, then definitely there can never be a very wise and a peaceful compromise. If we don't have that, it means the reign of terror and carnage will continue. To avoid that, what are we going to do? Everybody is moving forward. People are going on the moon, on the sun. Nigeria is backward. This is not the kind of country we should have. We can do much, much, much better. Finally, since the senator has decided to go biblical now, I want to ask him if he's listening. The Bible says, if the righteous is on the throne, the people rejoice, and maybe vice versa. Then what the people are lamenting about today, does it connote with that biblical verse? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us. We've been trying to establish a connection with Senator Oyofo. Senator Oyofo, are you back with us on the line? Okay, he's not yet here. So we take more calls and more comments, but I've noted your point about, the nature of the leader determining the fate of the people. Do we have another caller on the line there or another comment? Okay, but, more callers, some of our listeners would like to have your take and also to hear you out about what you think of the public hearings on constitutional amendment that took place this week. If you were there, what your experience was like and what your expectations will seem to be with regard to constitution amendment. Hello? Do we have a caller on the line there? Hello? Hello? Okay. Well, today is one of those days when there's a technical hitch and it becomes very difficult to just have a smooth run. But we'll address that and make sure it doesn't happen next week. Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have Senator Oyofo back?
Yes, my brother.
Okay, so while we lost connection with you, someone called in and he agreed with you on the point of restructuring, but he says since you've decided to quote the Bible, that he would like to draw your attention to the fact that a leader, the nature of a leader determines the fate of the people.
Sorry?
That the nature of a leader in charge in a country determines the fate of the people. Now, what do you think about that?
That the nature of the leader is what?
Will determine what happens to the people that he leads.
But the leader, it is the people that elected their leader because they have the qualities which the leader has. If they did not have the qualities of the leader, they will not elect that leader. So the question is not one-sided.
Yeah, but you were talking about the world going through a process of purification. That may be a bit esoteric for the ordinary Nigerian. What the ordinary Nigerian wants, he wants good roads, he wants infrastructure, he wants security. He doesn't want his children to be kidnapped. So,
yes, but you can't. You see, we understand that.
Yes, I'm listening to you.
Leaders have blame. There are portions of blame you can allocate to leaders. But also, everybody knows that the only Nigerian today is not a thief, is the one without opportunity. And even the few who are not thieves, you have to look for them in broad daylight with a lantern. So it is not something you can just sit back and say, leader did this, leader did that. Yes. How many places will Buhari split himself into? All he is not the minister. If the minister is also not corrupt,
Hello? Hello, sir. Hello? I was hearing him up to a minute ago. Hello?
hello?
Hello, yes, I see you are back on the screen.
Yeah, I finally solved the problem.
Oh, okay.
Let me switch this one now.
Okay, please go ahead. You were making a point about leadership. Hello? You still have to unmute your system. You still have to unmute your system so that we can hear you in the studio. I can see you on the Zoom screen, but your system is still muted. Hello?
All right, can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, clearly. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. Yeah, Reuben, what I'm trying to say is that a leader has his own side of the blames. Certainly, if a leader is empty, he can't give what he doesn't have. But the people who put a leader in place also share the attributes of their leader. Otherwise, where it is an elected system, they cannot put a leader who they didn't have affinity with. It's a different system if it's a dictatorship. These were leadership arising for popular election, unless they say something different. As far as we know, he came out on popular election. So the people as guilty as the person they elected. And as I was telling you before, a leader, even if he's pious, cannot be everywhere because he has to walk through people he's leading, through Nigerians. Today, any Nigerian who is not a thief is one without opportunity. And the few who are not thieving, you have to look for them, you have to search for them in the daytime with a lantern. This is how bad Nigeria is. So if you give money for them to buy, say, weapons, are you going to be the one buying the weapon yourself? Won't people do it? If you send a minister message, are you the one who will go there? The civil servants are the most corrupt in the world. Nigerian civil servants are probably the most corrupt in the whole world. I mean, what can anybody do? So that is the reason Nigeria has to be purged. Justice has to be established. It is the purging that you call insecurity because the wickedness in them is manifesting itself. How can somebody carry a gun to go and kill another human being? Don't you see that it is the evil in him that is manifesting? So it's not esoteric at all because it's very real. It's very real.
Well, before we proceed, it looks like we have another caller on the line. Hello, your name, your location, and your question or comment. Please go ahead. Hello? Okay. Well, we don't seem to have that connection there. But I was going to ask you, Senator Oyofo, what do you think about some Nigerians thinking that, well, Nigeria is bad, the best way forward is for parts of the country to secede? What's your take on secession?
My take on secession is negative. I was a student in Nsukka, University of Nigeria in Nsukka, when the Civil War came up. I don't want to live to see another civil war. What is worse, the war that will come up now is worse than the previous one because the previous one had a definition of what you want to achieve. There was a designation of where the fight is going to take place and who you were fighting with. There was a policy. They say prosecute a war and be humane. But what is going to come, or what will come, in the way the people are demanding it, is everybody fighting everybody. So
I don't think the name Nigeria has any problem. What is wrong with Nigeria is the way the constitution is written. It is the way they organize themselves. There is no money to develop the people. Employments are not being created. Industries are not growing because the governors are stealing the money. They are stealing the money and they are protected by immunity clause. So these things are obvious. The states are too many. Every state has, let's even say every state has 15 commissioners. Multiply 15 by 36. These are, then you have SAs, SSA, ASA. What is all that? See, and when Western region, the first to build, establish a radio station, I want to rule the whole place. And it included my own area that later became Midwest. So we don't need all these many states in order to administer Nigeria. So there is nothing wrong. What the secessionists are complaining about, they can be rectified. It is the lack of justice. It is the lack of fair play. It is not secession or forming your own country. If you don't purge yourself of the desire to be greedy, if you form Oduduwa, you will still be greedy. The greedy people in Oduduwa will still be greedy until the people have nothing. If you form Biafra and they are as greedy as they are now, the people will be, the rulers will be greedy and greedy and greedy until the people themselves are frustrated. So it is not about forming a country or forming your own group. No, it is about people redefining what we are doing. The Bible must be obeyed. He said, from the sweat of thy brow you shall eat your bread. Let each zone stay within itself, generate its revenue, work and develop their talents and their resources. Every state, every zone in Nigeria has them plenty. There is no zone that cannot survive if it applies itself, because God did not make any mistake. He said, from the sweat of thy brow you shall eat your bread. So you see people sitting in Sokoto and in wherever, they are waiting to eat the bread that is generated in River State or in Oyo. What is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of that? It can't work now because you have committed sin against God, first and foremost. Say, from the sweat of their brow, you shall eat your bread. So how can you be collecting bribe? Is that your sweat? Why?
Okay, it looks like we have some callers on the line. Please, your name, your location, and then your comment or question.
Okay, good morning, Dr. Reuben Abati, and good morning to your guest as well. My name is Harrison. I'm calling from Oyofo. I wish to state that democracy as practiced today in Africa, including Nigeria, we find that the sanctity of elections, has been compromised and adulterated by human elements and anti-democratic factors. Example, rigging. So it becomes somewhat worrisome when we blame the masses, for the maladministration and the dispositions of our leaders that are very detrimental to governance and to the welfare of citizens at large. I just wish to state that point and move forward to say that I think our major problem is the fact that we are practicing a perverted version of federalism. Because for me, the federal principle is very apt, in the Nigerian situation, given our heterogeneity and also considering the fact that the federal form of government, has proven to be very, very effective. We see the US, we see India, and and in other climes. But because we have perverted our version and introduce unitarism, such that the component units are now tied to the apron strings, of the powers that be at the center. And when it is done that way, you see that the competition that ordinarily should exist in a federal structure among the component unit, the state, is no longer there. So you now have state governors, government at the state level and at the local level, that are conditioned to go cap in hand, to the federal government. They are no longer innovative. They are not creative in how to utilize the resources in their domain and further the cost, of their respective states. So I believe very strongly that the restructuring is the way to go. And in this case, we need to be very, very clear about the restructuring we need, because if we are not clear, for example, now, if the state governors say we want restructuring, and let's say the federal government accedes or agrees to reshuffle the current revenue formula, and free up some of the resources it has.
Hello, Harrison there?
Yeah, I can hear you. So let me just conclude. Let me conclude by saying that we need to go back to the original version of federalism. I believe very strongly that the federal principle, if practiced, effectively, as it ought to be practiced, indeed would bode well for this country. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Harrison from Ayobo. Senator Oyofo, Harrison agrees with you on the point you made about restructuring. But he says we have to be very clear about the kind of restructuring we want. And I also think we should uphold the principle of federalism.
Hello?
Hello, sir. I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, I thought you were saying something.
Yeah, I was asking you to respond to the points made by Harrison from Ayobo, who called in. And
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud now, but I didn't hear what he said.
Yes, he agrees with you on the issue of restructuring, but he says we have to be clear about the type of restructuring that we want. And he says federalism, a return to federalism, proper federalism, is what will save the country.
You see, this is very true. And like I said, there is no region, no zone in Nigeria. If you look at the zone in Nigeria, North Central alone can feed Africa. So if they apply themselves to only farming, just farming, apart from the fact that they have many other things, they will generate a lot of income. If you go to any part of Nigeria, any part, in the West, when they built Cocoa House, it was called Cocoa House because that's where the revenue came from. And they built the first broadcasting station, television station in the world, in Africa. So what can they not do? You had the granite pyramids in the north. All of this is because people confined themselves to their zones and they were applying themselves to what nature gave them. And they created prosperity. And it is prosperity you can share. But what happened is that some people became lazy and they started envying what comes from other places, and they themselves got lazier and lazier and lazier, and they can't contribute anything. So we go to true federalism, which is what we are talking about. Dissolve all these states because they are necessary. They are necessary, they are a waste pipe, cesspits of corruption. So we have tried democracy now for how many years? And especially since this creation of states, it is clear to us that it doesn't work. So let us go back to what works. When everybody has something to take home, everybody can mind their family, everybody can look forward to another day, there will be peace everywhere.
Looks like we have another caller on the line. Please keep it brief. Hello? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Your name, your location, and please be brief.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Dr. Abati, I want to make my point clear earlier. And I said, I agree with restructuring. That's the problem. But the truth is this. Nigeria is not made up alone by the southern Nigeria. We have the northern Nigeria. Our brothers from the northern Nigeria, they have made it clear. How do we now get this compromise? There must be a middle ground. And that is my worry. Instead of wasting lives of innocent people, whether in the north, whether in the south, why not consider every option, all the options on the table? Because it doesn't make any sense. If the South is saying they want restructuring and the North is telling you, oh, the restructuring is just a systematic breakup of Nigeria, then where do you get that compromise? And that is my worry. So restructuring, no doubt, is the first option. Then there are other options as well. So let us see them, because what is most important to me is peace. It's not compulsory that we have to get together under killing every day. There are smaller countries, they live well, they enjoy every prosperity of life without even being too much populous as a nation. But what is the problem with us? We cannot even get a simple compromise. Where is the middle ground? Baba, please tell us, sir. Thank you.
Hello, sir. Did you hear him? He was just trying to clarify the point he made earlier.
He said that whether somebody won't agree, I don't. Somehow these communication channels are not clear.
Well, he was just clarifying the point he made about the restructuring in response to what you said. But maybe we should give more people a chance. But before we take the next call, I would like to ask you your position on the resolution of the southern governors, the 17 southern governors, on the ban on open grazing. And you know how the ban on open grazing in Nigeria.
Yes, open grazing is very, very medieval. It's a medieval practice. Nobody does open grazing. Can you imagine a cow that treks from Sokoto to Edo State? There's no meat left in the cow. It's all ligaments. So let us, apart from the fact that unfortunately people are trying to tribalize all these things, the nomadic life is not in these centuries. Let people, they can cultivate in another thing. They can go into cattle rearing. I once went to Brazil. If you see cattle rearing in Brazil, you will see millions and millions of cows. You see cowmen, you would like to be one of them. And that is how it is in every country. But it is unfortunate that we are now talking about it as if it is something that will cause a fight. No, especially when grass now dries up, vegetation is changing, climate is changing, then you have to go into people's cows, will go into somebody's farm and eat up his crop. It is both painful for the man who owns the crops, is lamenting, the person who owns the cow hasn't gained. So the southern governors are very correct in what they have said, and it is actually unfortunate that they are calling it southern governors resolution. It should have been the resolution of all governors in Nigeria if they want to modernize their people. There's no need. It's a medieval practice. There's nothing to be proud about it. Go to Brazil, go to anywhere in South America, go to all of them. You will see cows. Go to Europe, you see a cow. Then here you see one, you think you even to eat the meat, you begin to feel sick.
Well, but if you say that open grazing is not it, then do you agree with those who are recommending grazing reserves? Although the governor of
No. Why are they creating grazing reserve? Grazing your cow is your private business. If you want to find land and you buy it from people, yes, no matter where it is, you buy it, it's your land. Put your cattle, you buy a few hectares or so, and you put your cattle there, you fence them down. That is, you don't need government action to do that. It's already guaranteed by law that you can own property anywhere in Nigeria. So go there, buy your piece of property, put your cattle there, fence it around, and comply with local regulations. Nobody is fighting anybody. Your cattle won't go into another person's farm. The problem is that I have problem with us black people. Why don't we do things right? Even those we copy, we see what they do. We will not do it. What is the problem with black people? You want to be cattle raising high, cattle rearing has become a national issue. Why? It's a private property. The woman selling akara, can he raise it to public issue? What is the difference between the one who is rearing cattle and the one who is doing a fire and die in Abeokuta? What's the difference? They are all private business. Go and organize it in your place or wherever you can buy land. If you buy land in the south and they give you, fine. nobody will have any problem with you. But if you say you want to take another man's land, there's an issue there.
Okay, we have one or two callers on the line, and then we'll wrap it up for today. Well, who is on the line? Quickly.
Hello, good morning, Dr. Abati.
It's this afternoon already, and we're rushing to wrap up.
AB from some to go.
Okay.
I want to quickly ask our guests. This amendment that they are doing now, these constitutions they are going around doing, amendments that they are planning to go around, that they are doing now, will it have the light of the day, or it's just still going to be a jamboree? Why not look at the 2014 confab that Gulojunda has set up? That is my question. God bless Nigeria in Jesus' name.
Well, Senator Oyofo, I hope you heard it.
As I've already said, this issue of they are going around, first of all, is a big shame that the National Assembly will go and have two teams. There is no fitting English language to describe the action, because shameful is a minor description. Don't they have shame? Thoughtlessness is another word. Can't they think? Don't they even perceive that they are a national assembly that the world is looking at? So are they expecting two different reports from the same people who want to restructure? How many people wrote the 1999 Constitution? So how many conferences are we going to have? In the same National Assembly, in my time, there was a Kwerimando. They spent a lot of money, voted a lot of money rewriting Constitution and all sorts of matters. How many will they conduct? So they just want to kill time, vote money for themselves to satisfy their corruption and their paymasters.
Okay. I think at this point we should call it a day. I would like to thank you on behalf of all our listeners. Thank you very much, Senator Chief Victor Oyofo, for taking time out to join us on the program today and to help us examine many issues of topical and national interest, and issues that can help us move our country forward. And also, I'd like to thank all those who listened and those who called in and those who reached out to us on Zoom, Twitter, and Facebook. I noticed that those who joined us on Zoom, because of the technical issues, couldn't really participate much today. But remember, the conversation does not end here. You can reach out to me on my social media account at Abati1990, both on Instagram and Twitter. You can also reach out to at City1051 on all social media platforms. And for those of you who tuned in late, no need to worry. You can visit the YouTube page at City1051 to watch the entire show. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave comments. And don't forget also to tune in next week at noon for another exciting edition of City Talks. My name is Reuben Abati. The show was produced by Adedoja Allen, Abiodun Odunton, Ayodamola Oludara, Oluwaseun Adetitun, and Olanrewaju Onikwede Jr. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much. We look forward to having you on the program again next Saturday.
City Talks with Reuben Abati.